Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi Ian 3, brought to you by MEOR DC. MEORDC.com is our website. That's right, it's a website. Or find us on Facebook and learn about our programs, including the Maimonides Jewish Leaders Fellowship, which we're taking applications for the spring semester. How about that? Okay, check it out. It's a great program. Now, this week's Torah portion is a great Torah portion, Vayeshev, in the book of Vayeshev. It tells of the troubles and tribulations of Joseph, my namesake in the Torah. If I could only live up to him, Yosef HaTzadik, as our sages call him, Joseph the righteous one. And he's called Yosef HaTzadik because he resists incredible temptations thrown his way that the portion talks about. So, Yosef, let's remember, he was 17 years old. He was the apple of his father Yaakov's eye. And Yaakov was spending time teaching him wisdom. And the Torah says he was a wise son. But his brothers were jealous of him. They saw him as a usurper. They were suspicious of his motives. They thought he was trying to take over the family, the spiritual business of the family, and they didn't think he was right for the job at all. Later they'll be proved wrong, but they didn't think he was right for the job. They're going to kill him, but then they decide to sell him, and they sell him to a caravan of traders who bring him down to Egypt, from the holy tent of Jacob to the unholy environment of the great civilization of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. The Torah says Yosef found favor in people's eyes, and he was successful and skillful. And even in the house to which he has been sold as a slave, a man named Potiphar in Egypt, he rises to the top of Potiphar's household, still only 17, in a short time. Remarkable human being Yosef was. But what was most remarkable about him was not his administrative talents or his charm, but his moral fiber, his righteousness. Because what happens? The wife of Potiphar casts her eyes upon him. And it was after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Yosef, and she said, "Lie with me." But he refused. He said to his master's wife, "Look, my master doesn't know anything that's going on with me in the house. Everything he's placed in my custody. There's no one greater in the house than I, and he's denied me nothing but you. How could I perpetrate this evil and sin against God?" Yosef gives a long speech to the wife of Potiphar. And the Midrash says that over and over again, she tried to seduce him for a long period of time, and he refused. Let's look back at his speech, because there's an amazing insight from the Sfas Emes. That's the name of the work of the first Ger Rebbe, great Hasidic master and thinker. And he says, we can learn how to battle our own temptations and Yetzer Hara from Joseph's speech, this incident here. Because we need, says the Sfas Emes, we need Yishuv Hadas. We need clarity of thought. Yosef is so clear. He says, look, I'm so important here. My master has trusted me. How could I think to sin against him and against God? In other words, he lays out very clearly why it would be wrong and awful to commit a sin. But the Sfas Emes says it was preceded by he refused. Vayema'en in Hebrew. In other words, that clarity of how horrible it would be to sin against his master came only after he just said no. He refused point blank, no reasons, no justifications, no rationalizations, just because it's evil. Through that, he had the clarity of mind to see why it would be so bad. That's the lesson for us. A lot of times in life, we know human beings can rationalize, we can rationalize. We have to say no to evil, to those temptations, and then we'll get the clarity to see more deeply why it would be wrong. Have a great Shabbos.